Welcome to our live stream of high school sports. Please note that this broadcast is produced by an independent team of sports enthusiasts, and the views, opinions, and commentary expressed are solely those of the commentators and not representative of the schools, teams, or athletes featured. While we strive for accuracy, occasional errors or misstatements may occur. This stream is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the show.
Yeah, come on, let's go. Hey, you ain't never seen nothing like this. Ain't no telling how it might get. It's the hypest right here. High school sports at its finest. So many highlights, you have to rewind it. Hey, Stream City, let me just remind you. The heart of a lion, a team full of fighters. So many stars on the field, it'll blind you. They're giving everything they got till the time's up. Yeah, legends in the making. History is made. We just getting started. You ain't seen a thing. YSN, gotta know the name. They gon' bring the flames. They gon' do their thing. Take it to another level, don't hold back. High school, got a passion and we show that. Got the drive and you know they got the heart. Number one spot for your high school sports. Let's go for the win. Hey.
And welcome inside a Wednesday episode of YSN Live. It is March 4th, 2026. It's the only one you're going to get, so you might as well make it the best one possible. You know what Wednesdays bring in the winter. It is Gary Altizer, our wrestling guru, here for another exciting Wrestling Wednesday with us. Gary, how we doing?
I'm doing well. I can't believe it's the postseason. I can't believe it's March already. It's wrestling is a grind. It's a long season. I think the longest that there is in high school sports in Ohio, if not one of them. And even though it's a grind, it sure goes by fast.
Something about those winter sports, basketball and wrestling, the state makes the season as long as possible, and it turns it into a grind. You know, basketball, I feel like when we're talking about basketball, and you can talk about this for that, I feel like there's some wasted time in there for basketball that is unneeded that makes the season even longer. Do you feel like that in wrestling too, where there's some time where there's like, hey, we could maybe be wrestling to speed it up, or do you think this is a good time frame for wrestling to start when it does and end when it does?
I mean, it is a long season. There could definitely be some weeks cut out, but the state also has to think about things that I don't think people realize. So when they have the tournament in Columbus, there was one year where the state tournament was happening, the state wrestling tournament. There was a UFC fight going on in downtown Columbus, and then I believe the Arnold Classic was being held that weekend, and the girls basketball state tournament might have been held that weekend as well. So they've got to balance a ton of things as far as when they have the postseason. So I think, don't quote me, but I think that might have something to do with why they schedule it the way that they do and when the postseason is when it is. Now they could push it, maybe the start farther down. We start in the middle. We start in November sometime, just depending on where the weeks fall. You could push it, the start date to a later day, but then the kids are itching to get out there. So it's kind of a double-edged sword on when they do it. I do think they could cut a couple weeks out, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and wrestling is a sport where you might like that little spread out because it's so physical. You might have those built-in, days or weeks off where it's like, but like for basketball, I know there are a couple of times when you're like, hey, here's a week that we don't have any games, especially after the tournament, like end of the regular season, start of the tournament. There's like a 2-week gap sometimes, and you're sitting there like, we could be playing. And then you're also thinking like, well, basketball is running right to the end of spring sports. It wouldn't do that if we didn't waste those 2 weeks. I'm sure there's a logical reason there. I'm sure that what they say isn't dumb and just is like throwing darts at the wall. But at the same time, it is kind of frustrating when you're sitting there in the winter and there's 2 weeks there between the end of the regular season and the start of tournaments. And then you also know how much the end of the tournament like pushes on the start of spring. There's really no time gap between the end of winter and the start of spring. So if you're making a deep tournament run in basketball, you're not even, for example, if you make a deep tournament run into football, let's say not even state, like regionals, your kids will get out. You won't have a lot of practice time, but they'll still be there for the first game of the season. If a basketball team on the girls' side makes a deep tournament run, they would be playing state when the official start date of the tournament of the softball season starts. So it's like not even getting them late to practice. You wouldn't get them for the first chunk of the season. So
Right.
that would be, it's just one of those things that I think is kind of nuts that there's so much gap time. But I'm sure there's a reason. I'm not going
Yeah,
to
there is. And
say that the OHSA is just throwing darts on the wall. It's just frustrating. But that is not what we're here to talk about today. That's my tangent from mental. We're here to talk about wrestling. Let's go. Wrestling postseason. First and foremost, I know we have a guest every week. We try to do that. We have been extremely lucky this year that someone has been able to come on in this 12 to 1 hour live every week. This week we just couldn't swing it. We're not puppet masters that can control people's schedules. We reached out to some people, just couldn't swing this 12 to 1 hour this week. So unfortunately, this is one of those weeks where we won't have someone live to talk to. But the good thing is, because it's sectionals and almost everyone was pretty much in action, we have a lot of results to talk about. So we're not going to be hanging by a thread when it comes to what to talk about this week. And if we can get someone recorded between now and next week before districts, definitely we will. We'll get their profile up. We're not limited to this hour when it comes to interviewing kids. We'd like to get them live, but if we can get a wrestler before districts, we definitely will, and we'll aim to keep getting wrestlers as the weeks go on next week and into states after that. So, Gary, without further ado, let's recap sectionals. I had a brain fart there. Let's recap sectionals and talk about some of the big names, big players, and big wrestlers that are moving on.
Yeah, so I'm doing this all off the top of my head here. I went through and looked through everything as much as I could look through. There were, a lot of the kids that we've been seeing do well all season, did well. A lot of the teams that we've been seeing all season do well, has done well. Beaver Local, I think, got 12 of their 14 out. They won a tough sectional at Steubenville. The girls' side, Austintown Fitch, I believe, had 8 get out. I think that's the second most in their district. At our sectional, we had to go all the way to Beechwood. So if you know where Wells was, it's the southern tip of Columbiana County. I could throw a rock and hit Jefferson County from here, and we had to go, it's an hour and 50-minute drive north. So we went up there to Beechwood, really well-run tournament, and the YSN teams there did well. The one that stood out to me was Grand Valley. I believe they only had 6 kids entered into the sectional, but I'm pretty sure all 6 got out. I think they might have placed in the top 5 as a team out of 16. I think they had a great tournament. The usual teams that you see getting kids out, got kids out. I don't know that there were any real surprises. There were a couple of interesting things. Bobby Buhite for Beaver Local, he certified at 144 at the end of the season, but ended up going 150 pounds at sectionals. Not too big of a surprise because that's where he's been wrestling. But when you see someone certified at a lower weight, usually it's for the postseason. But he decided to go 150. He's had a great year there, so I'm sure he won't miss a beat. Everything was kind of par for the course, for a lack of a better term. That you saw the kids showing up who have been showing up all year, and I don't know of any off the top of my head. I don't know of any really big upsets or any earth-shattering or earth-shaking happenings. This is the week coming up where you're going to see probably those things happen.
You did say, in your sectional, there was a lot of YSN teams that ran into some walls. And then I know we got only 2 in the finals in your sectional, Grand Valley and Columbiana, right? Were the 2 that were in the finals?
Grand Valley, Wellsville, and
Wellsville. Sorry, you had one too. I forgot your own kid. That's terrible. Kick me off the show, Gary. Kick me off. That's it. I'm done. But yeah, I mean, what was your sectional like? Talk about Beechwood and what you saw out of it, even if it was non-YSN teams. Who were some of the big teams you guys ran into?
Well, for us at Beechwood, Trinity was there. That's a private school. I believe it's in Cleveland. They've got state placers. They have a kid on the team who is he's a junior, had his 100th win. He's a returning state placer or a state champion. Beechwood is there as well. They had a returning state champion at 157 pounds, Caleb Greenwood. Got to see some great wrestling there. It was a very competitive sectional. There were 16 teams there. Last year there were only 11. So in our district, there were 5 sectionals last year, and they sent one of the sectionals to a different district. This year they did not do that. They sent the teams back, and they had to be split up with the 4 sectionals. So there were more teams in each sectional. So that made the sectionals tougher everywhere. So, seeing those teams, Smithville's another team that was there. They had a good tournament. It was it was a lot tougher than I'd say that last season. We saw some really good wrestling, and I'm sure we're going to see some even better wrestling coming up here at our district. We got some really good teams in our district at Independence. We've got Lake Catholic is there, Waynedale is there, Massillon Tuslaw is there, Rootstown, Columbia. It's going to be a grind for anybody to get out of that sectional. South Range will be there. I believe that they got 7 out in their sectional. In D2, I forgot to mention Canfield. I believe they got 8 kids out of theirs as well. So, YSN teams are rolling, man. We've got a lot of great wrestlers, a lot of great teams, a lot of great coaches in this YSN family. So the districts are going to be fun.
That's going to be so great as a team when you're able to get 7 kids, 8 kids out of sectionals. And you're like, okay, our chances of getting someone to state this went whoop.
Waynedale got there. 14 of 14.
So that's impressive. When
every single kid.
When you talk about, I know you don't like to talk about your own program a lot on the show, but you had, like we said before, you had a kid in the finals. What's his road look like, and what's it mean to you to have someone that got to the sectional finals, moving on to districts, and what do you think is in store for him when he gets into districts?
Leland Mona 165. I appreciate you asking about him and our team. He did good. He, unfortunately lost in triple overtime in the finals, and the sectional tournament for me personally as a coach, I've probably had 8 or 9 kids in the finals, and only 2 of them have won in the sectional final. It's just a tough thing to do, but he did a good job. He's been winning matches all year. He's going to have a tough road at the district tournament, and he knows that. He's got to come out and bring out his best. There's a lot of tough wrestlers in his bracket, and this is a new weight class for him. We moved him there. We thought it was best for him to be there, especially for where he is physically, where he was weighing at the end of the season, and it ended up working out for him. So, hey, he's got to come and got to bring it on every match, and that's what everybody's got to do to get out of the district tournament, get to the state in Ohio.
Triple OT. That's wild. What was it like just to watch a match like that was that closely contested, that needed that long to get decided?
Well, as a coach, it's probably the most stinking stressful thing you can do. You get to that point, both kids are exhausted. You're hoping you don't make a mistake. One small mistake can cost you. You're trying to, communicate with your kid on the mat, hoping that they hear you. They're so tired. A lot of times everything else gets blocked out because of that. You're glad your kid's in that position. You're thankful and grateful to be there, to be watching your kid in the finals. But I'm not going to lie, it is extremely stressful. When you get to overtime, anything can happen. I've had a kid get to the state tournament and lose in overtime in a match because of one small mistake that he made. It can be the greatest feeling or a really defeating feeling. But hey, it's only sectionals. You got to get through next week anyway. So we're still happy that we're going to be wrestling this weekend for a chance to go to Columbus.
As a coach, how do you handle when that doesn't go your way? I mean, that's a tough loss, like you said, in triple overtime. So what were some things that you said to Leland after to kind of, hey, steer the ship right in districts, and as hard as that loss was, we still have wrestling to do. You can still go make a run at districts. There's nothing stopping you. So how do you navigate that as a coach? What were some of your things that you did to kind of frame that in a way that kept him confident?
Hey, we got next week. This is over. The match is over. It's done. We got to move on to next week. And, when you head to the district tournament, the way they're matched up, if you are a sectional champion, you get matched up with a fourth place kid from sectionals. And if you're a runner up, you get matched up with a third place kid from a different sectional. And it's random as far as I know, as far as who they match you up with. So, getting second place and then wrestling a third place wrestler in the first match could be better than being in first place and getting a fourth place from a different sectional, because you don't know who was in the brackets in these sectionals. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're in a worse spot, or your first match may be tough, but maybe your second match is a lot better than it would have been if you had took first place, or if you were, in fourth place instead of third. The same thing could happen. So it doesn't necessarily mean that anything is any worse. In theory, it is, but you never know. So I just told him keep his head up. We got next week to go. Brush it to the side, and he was good. After he dealt with it, every kid deals with things different. Every kid, they take a loss a different way. Most kids are emotional about it. It's, you're still a child. You're still learning how to deal with your emotions. But most kids, after they get a second to digest it, and it's over with, they're moving on, and he did a good job of that. So we're just focusing on Friday and Saturday.
As we venture into previewing districts, like we said in the sectionals, we love to preview each matchup, but that's not, announced yet. We have no idea who's wrestling who. Won't know that until the day before district. So we don't know the exact matchups. What we do know is who's going to be in the district. So we can kind of guess and formulate like who are going to be the favorites into the districts and who's going to be some of the sleepers in a district. So Gary, why don't you go through some of the districts and guys and girls that you see that are favorites in their respective districts, and maybe some that you think are a little bit of those sleepers you have to watch out for in districts as well.
As far as who the favorites are, it's we're going to keep repeating the same names over and over. I mean, the Beaver local kids all got a chance to win their district. On the girls' side, there are going to be a couple of tough matches there coming for some of those girls, and there may be, state tournament placement match previews there. Those I'm excited to see how those go. I hate to mention any names because I don't want to leave anybody out, but I think that the same names that we've been seeing, we will continue to see. But my favorite thing and the most exciting thing at the district tournament is, I talk about this every year. You can get to the district tournament and see some kids who are burnt out, checked out, or maybe they've dealt with injuries for so long that it doesn't work out for them there. And you also see the opposite of that, of kids who kind of turn it on at the right time. And they will come, and I want to say out of nowhere, but all of a sudden their focus is on another level, their mindset is on another level, and then when they're on the mat, everything comes together for them. So those are the things that I'm going to be watching out for. Austintown Fitch is going to probably have a great tournament. Louisville, West Branch, Beaver local, South Range, the same teams the same kids are probably going to have the great district tournaments. But I am interested to see the ones that are kind of going to shine, and everything for them is going to come together when it means the most and get to that state tournament, because in my opinion, the blood round, which is the consolation semifinals of the district tournament in Ohio, is the most exciting round of the year. It's the one where you see the kids really dig deep, and you want to talk about heart and kids laying every single thing on the line to get to Columbus. Go to a district tournament, go to that second day, and make sure you're there for that consolation semifinal round. It is something to watch, and there's a lot of heartbreak, don't get me wrong, but there are also a lot of great stories, and you see kids rise to the top and see dreams. I mean, literally things that kids have been dreaming about their whole life come true.
I just love that we call it the blood round. That sounds so. Oh, it's blood, man. Blood's gonna be shit on this mat today. So it's a blood round. For someone watching that's thinking like, hey, maybe I should go to one of these districts. Maybe I should go check it out. Where are the districts happening? What are the hosts, and where can they find maybe their prospective high school that they want to go and support?
So we're in Independence, at the Independence district. I can just start there. In Independence, Ohio, at the high school there, they have a really beautiful field house that they hold the district in. That is, where you'll find a lot of the Division III teams in this Northeast Ohio area. And a lot of the YSN teams in Division III. There is also a Kenston district for Division II. That is going to be on Friday and Saturday as well. Edgewood is there. I'm looking right now, just looking at some of the local teams here. Canfield's there. Yeah, they did get 8 out. Cheney will be there. They got 2 out of that of their sectional there. Congratulations to them. Howland and Hubbard will both be there. Howland got 8 out. They had a great sectional tournament. Hubbard got 3. Jefferson 3. Orange got 1 out. Perry with 9. What a great sectional tournament that they had. Salem has 1 out. West Branch with 9 out as well. So that that's another one there. As far as the girls go, the girls will be at Mentor. So they're going to be up north there near the lake. Austintown Fitch with 8. Coach Bird doing a great job there. Western Reserve, Coach Mancini's got 1 there as well. There are a whole bunch of teams here at this girls district. If you are a fan of the girls wrestling, there are a lot of teams represented. East Liverpool with 5, East Palestine with 1. Girard's got 1 there. Hubbard's got 1. Lakeside with 1. Springfield, we talked, to their wrestler this year with Abby. She's out with Coach Beadle. Orange with 1. Perry's got 4. Poland Seminary, we know who she is. She's definitely in the running for a state championship. She is there as well. So Coach Beadle's going to be pulling double duty at that district with 2 different teams. Southern Locals got 1. And I'm still going through these teams here. And Southeast with 2. United with 3. Coach Lisa there every year after year. Waterloo with 1. West Branch with 3.
Yeah, a lot of girls. We're kicking butt. I love that Coach Beatles would have to do a little shirt change. We want to Poland blue, and then all of a sudden, wait, time to put on that orange real quick.
Yeah.
All right, Springfield orange. Let's go.
I wonder if he's got.
What about a half and half? Just a half and half.
Jacket that he zips up, and then when he has to go to pull, and he takes that off. I wonder how he handles that. If we got to get
Coach Beadle on the show. We got to get him and talking about that situation, because that's not something that you see. I mean, it's something that you have seen before, but not something that you see too often. Having to coach 2 different teams because you're coaching someone that you've coached before that moved to a different school that doesn't have a wrestling program in its building. So that's a fun situation. Hopefully we can get him on at some point before states or something. Gary, last takeaways, because we're running out of time with you a little bit. What are some things that people should know about districts? What are some things that you think are the keys to winning a district and getting out of districts in the state, as so many people are striving to get to Columbus?
Well, I mean, if you get to the district tournament, you're obviously a good wrestler. You've got to be at your best. You've got to be mentally at your best. It's more a mental game at this point, if you ask me, because you're talented enough to get there and have enough skill. But don't get me wrong, there can be a gap. The best wrestlers at district to the ones that aren't as experienced or don't have the resume. There can be a gap, but there's still a big chunk of wrestlers that could place, who are all kind of around the same. So you'll see the ones who stay mentally focused, the ones who keep their head on their shoulders, and the ones who keep their heads down. If you ask me, don't look up. It's the same size circle. It's you and one other opponent, and there's still a referee out there. Don't let the moment get a hold of you. And the biggest thing that I always tell my kids is, don't be satisfied with being a district qualifier. Don't be satisfied with this. You want to go on to the next week to have a chance to get on that podium at the end of the season. Don't walk in there, buy a T-shirt, and then just be okay with, well, at least I made it to districts. Keep your head on straight. Keep your eyes focused. And don't worry about anything but what you can do. Don't worry about your opponent. Go out there, do what you can do. Lay it all on the mat. And if you leave it all on the mat and it doesn't work out, you have no regrets. And if it does work out, hey, you'll have a memory for a lifetime.
We did the math last week. I don't remember what the number was, but I think it was over 1,000. So slightly over 1,000 wrestlers are going to get to state at the end of the week. And hopefully that a lot of YSN names are going to pop into that. I know there's several teams that have plenty of chances, plenty of opportunities with the amount of people they've put into the district. So we'll be back next week. We'll talk about what's going to go down the state. And Gary, I know you're looking forward to that trip to Columbus, right? You'll be going no matter what.
Hopefully, yes.
Hopefully, yes. And I know Chris will be there. I think Greg McAfee, our ace photographer, will be going down there as well to get great shots and video content from our wrestlers at state. So next week we'll be previewing that. This is crazy. Next week we're going to be previewing that, and then we got the finale. So it's coming up really soon. So don't miss anything. Your chances to see Wrestling Wednesday are dwindling. Our wrestling guru, Gary Altizer, who gets the names out for Big Dogs, by the way, we haven't shouted that out in a minute. Big Dogs Wrestling has really showed up this year. We had, for a long time, it was girls dominating that voting, but we had a boy win this last week. So Jensen Nordquist from Columbiana, who did get out of his sectionals and is going to districts, right? He was in the finals.
Yeah.
So he got runner-up in sectionals going to districts. He gets to win by 19 votes.
Wow.
19 votes. He got the win.
So tell everybody how big is the gap usually?
1,000.
Okay.
It's usually enough that it's like one person is not going to sit there and just get enough in a half an hour. But we had in girls basketball, I think the margin was like a couple of hundred, which is not hard to get for one person. You can sit there during a day, maybe like a couple of half an hour windows when you get free time in the day, and one person can get you a couple hundred votes. 19 votes, obviously, and it's unlimited. You can sit there and get 19 votes in 10 minutes. So the fact that it was that close, one of the closest polls I think we've ever had at Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley. So it was really impressive. Columbia always shows up to vote, so congratulations to him. And we'll have new names this week. The stuff that was happening last week kind of derailed our ability to get the polls up, but we have names up for this week that will be going up as well. So make sure you get back to our socials, see when those go up, and always vote for your favorite wrestlers on Big Dogs of the Valley. We're happy that they're back. They took a little hiatus last year. We were able to get those names back onto the Big Dogs list this year, and we're so happy they are. Gary, thank you so much for coming on, talking to us about the sectional tournament, and we wish you the best of luck with your team going into districts, and we'll see you again next week, buddy.
All right, thanks, Anth. I'll see you then.
Our good friend, our wrestling guru, Gary Altizer, joining us, and he always does an amazing job at what he does. And if you are happy with the coverage that we have of wrestling throughout the area, you gotta thank Gary, because he's the one that started it all with wanting to come on with us. I remember the first year of Wrestling Wednesday with me and Ty, back when me and Ty did the show together. We were asking the most like dumb questions because we did not know the sport at all, and he held our hand through it. And now here we are 5 years later, talking like I've been in part of the sport the whole time. Who knew we would get here? But always fun to talk to Gary. Now let's go into the scores from last night in basketball, as we had two tournament girls tournament games in the regionals go down, two regional semifinals, D2 and D5. We had one representative in both divisions. Hoban gets the big win over Nordonia. No problem here for the Knights as they rumble on into the regional finals. This is where they got last year, and they almost had Brush. They had him late. Brush comes back and knocks him out of the tournament in the regional finals. Hoban trying to remedy that a little bit and get into the state semifinals this time around as they go into the championship game, I believe, against Twinsburg, which is a 3 seed. Who beat Massillon in the other regional semifinal. So that game coming on Thursday. Crestview, a defensive matchup against Doylestown Chippewa, who, reminder, plays in a very good conference, very good area of basketball. You have teams like Norwayne, Waynedale, Chippewa. I can't remember the whole conference, but they're all teams that find ways in district championships, find ways in the regionals. And their defense did enough. 42-36. They hold Addison Rhodes to 13 points, which is a feat. It's a feat. I mean, she's been scoring 20 plus every night, it seems like, this year. I'm surprised that she hasn't had one bad shooting night all season. But Chippewa's defense did enough to make her shots a little bit uncomfortable. And she did have that one shooting night percentage wise that was not great. But if you look at the defense, like none of her shots were super easy. She wasn't missing like wide open threes that were just like, I can't believe she missed that. Chippewa's defense just did enough to make every shot a little bit of the high percentage shot. And, you know, as you know, in sports, you can't control once that ball leaves your hand, whether you're a quarterback, a shooter in basketball, a pitcher in baseball or softball. You do all you can to control it as much as you can. But when it leaves, like you're in the control of God and the universe of if that ball goes in. And unfortunately for Crestview, just did not go in enough for them last night as a team. 42-36. Doylestown Chippewa gets the 6-point win and ends Crestview's season and ends the unbelievable career of Addison Rhodes. We can't wait to see her into the All-Star game. Last night we got the text. She has confirmed that she will be in the All-Star game and she will be defending her back-to-back championship belt for the 3-2-1 contest. So if you want to win that 3-2-1 contest, you got to get past the back-to-back champ in it this year. She goes for a three-peat in that skills competition. A lot of boys basketball. It was district semifinals on the line last night. East Liverpool, we talked to Coach Reynolds about traveling to Maysville. Maysville gets the win over the Potters, 78-32, the final score there. Fitch falls to Hudson at home. This was number 5 Fitch against number 6 Hudson. The Explorers get a little bit of an upset, but, you know, one seed. You know, you could call it an upset technically. 58-52, the final score in that one. I'm trying to get this mouse, but I can't get away from the ads. Get away from me. Okay, we have to scroll. We go into Boardman. They also got upset by a seed that was one above them. Wadsworth comes into Boardman, gets the win. 50-39, the final score in that one. Howland goes on the road against Brush, and Brush gets the 51-31 win over the Tigers to move on. We go to Alliance. Louisville made the trip to Alliance. They lost 61-45. Cheney in their last game. Now DJ was smart by saying don't say it never, but last game for at least a foreseeable future at Cheney. 58-55, they get the win over Lutheran West. A very impressive game. And guess who was on the call? Shocker. Sean Elwood, Mr. Big Game Elwood, on the call again. And he gets another great game. 58-55. Cheney gets to win last game on that floor. And the Cowboys are moving on. Hoban with no problems with Talmadge. 61-46. They get the win over the Devils to move on. Urson also with no problems. There's 80-46. They beat Ellett. And they move on to the district championship game. Hey, also moving on is another pretty impressive team in Canfield that's been shining all year. They had a tough draw. NDCL is always a team that is pretty underseeded because of the schedule they play. They never really – seems like they never have the best record, but they always have like some of the greatest talent because they play such an unbelievable schedule. So even though they were the 14 and Canfield was the 1, I thought going into this game, this is going to be one of the biggest tests of Canfield's district, maybe in their regional, until they get to maybe the finals. Canfield got past it by 7 points, 72-65, a close one in Canfield in the semifinals, but they work through and they get into the championship game. Norton is able to knock off Hubbard. That was the 11 seed Hubbard versus the 2 seed Norton. 76-41, the final score there. West Branch is moving on as they take care of Streetsboro. 65-49, the final score in that one. Edgewood traveled to Warrensville Heights, and Warrensville Heights gets to win 65-19, the final score there. And then last but not least, Beaver Local hosting Carrollton, and Carrollton comes out with a 2-point upset victory. Once again, a lot of these upsets in boys basketball are just 1 seed higher coming to coming on the road and getting the win. So you could say upset number wise, but when you're 5-4, 2-3, 27-26, like you're splitting hairs there. But Carrollton does get the 2-point victory over Beaver Local, 58-56, the final score there. If you missed any of those or you want to check any of our scores, make sure to head over to ysnlive.com/scores. And that is proudly presented by Burnett Pool Spas and Hot Tubs, and proudly run by our wizard, Mike Schweinhardt, who somehow gets some of these scores that I don't know how he gets. because some of these were YSN teams at non-YSN teams on the road. So obviously we didn't have the broadcast, and he got them almost live. Like as soon as they went final, they were up. And then I'm like, whoa, where are you getting this? I can't find them. And I'm the social media director. I couldn't find them on social media. He must have some dark magic, I think. I think he does. We will have to do some investigating there to see if Mike Schweinhart is a secret warlock or not. As we go into tonight, we'll preview what we have on tonight for the YSN Family Regional Semifinals again tonight. As we go into the Division 4, West Branch is going to be playing Gilmore Academy at the Canton Memorial Fieldhouse. So West Branch trying to get into the regional championship. On the boys' side, in the district semifinals, Pymatuning Valley will be traveling to Lutheran East. South Range is going to Chagrin Falls. That game will be on our airways at NFHS first for the subscription, and then on our website after it is live. So DJ Oakley will be making the trip to Chagrin Falls with South Range. Poland is going and hosting Cardinal Mooney tonight. That one will also be handled by Poland's students, so they get their last chance to cover Poland at home. As Mooney comes to town, we know how good Mooney is in the tournament. Kerry Palermo always finds a way to get that team ready to go for district time, so that game won't be a pushover for Poland at all. And then last but not least, LeBray is hosting Canton Central Catholic tonight. That game will also be on. We will have someone there, so NFHS network subscription will get you that one. And then once again, after it is live, after it is completed, you can watch it on YSN on replay. Same link will get you there. So if you go to our live games link, like you always do, it'll take you to the screen where you have to subscribe to NFHS if you're not already. And then that same link will get you the game on replay if you wait for it to be ended live. We have a very good opportunity today as well to venture outside the YSN family and spread our wings a little bit as we get the chance to cover some non-YSN teams in the regional semifinals for the NFHS network. We're so happy to be helping them out. I will be at Uniontown Lake tonight to cover the regional semifinals between Smithville and Richmond Heights at 6 and Waynedale at Canton Central Catholic at 8. So happy to be there. Ty Bartel will have both games as well at the Canton Memorial Fieldhouse. So we're once again spreading our wings a little bit and getting some teams on, one, our network, but two, on NFHS for their fans and their communities. So we're happy to do that. Once again, Ty will do the Elyria Catholic at Laurel game at 6 o'clock at the Canton Memorial Fieldhouse before West Branch. I will be at Uniontown Lake for those regional games, Smithville versus Richmond Heights and Waynedale versus Canton Central Catholic. So we're happy that we're able to do those games for you today at Lake. So that is our schedule for the night. Me and DJ coming back tomorrow, and Michael McKenzie, he'll be here with us tomorrow as well. As we always say, we'll be better tomorrow. We'll try to be better tomorrow at least, and we hope that you join us for our last show of the week on a Thursday. Thank you so much for tuning in today. This has been YSN Live, and as always, may the sports be with you.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of your sports network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.